Stop right there. If you've ever wondered whether he's truly into you or just playing games, this might change everything. Because the way he greets you, it reveals more than all his words combined. Watch closely. You don't want to miss this. Let me tell you something. Pay attention to how a man greets you. Not what he says later, not the sweet texts, not the big promises. I'm talking about that first moment when he sees you. Because a man who's really into you, he can't hide it. It shows up right there in real time before he has a chance to think about it. His greeting reveals his true feelings in a way that no rehearsed words or carefully crafted messages ever could. The moment a man sees you, before he has time to think, filter, or perform, his natural reaction takes over, and that reaction is honest, it's unguarded, it's real. You can learn more about how he feels in those first few seconds than you can from hours of conversation. Because when feelings are genuine, they don't wait for permission to show up, they just do. The way a man reacts the moment he sees you says more than words ever will. Watch closely. Does his face light up without him even realizing it? Does his posture shift, like he suddenly becomes more alert, more alive? There's a certain spark, a subtle change in energy that you can feel without him saying a single thing. It's not about grand gestures or dramatic expressions. It's about the small, involuntary signals that happen naturally. When he's truly into you, there's a warmth in his eyes, a sincerity in his smile, and a presence that feels focused entirely on you. And here's the key: this kind of reaction can't be faked consistently. Anyone can say the right words or send a sweet message, but genuine excitement is hard to manufacture over and over again. If a man is truly interested, you won't have to question it every time you see him. His reaction will be steady. It will feel familiar in the best way, like something you can rely on. You won't be left guessing or overanalyzing whether he's happy to see you, because it will be obvious without effort. On the other hand, when the feeling isn't there, that absence speaks just as loudly. If his greeting feels flat, distracted, or routine, it often reflects exactly where his interest stands. There's no spark, no shift, no sense that your presence has made any real impact. And that's important to notice, not to overthink or criticize, but to understand. Because recognizing what's real saves you from chasing what isn't. Energy never lies. No matter how hard someone tries to control the situation or say all the right things. A person can choose their words carefully, can rehearse what they want to say, can even pretend to feel something they don't, but their energy will always tell the truth. It shows up in the smallest, most natural ways, the kind of details you don't even have to think about to notice. When a man is genuinely into you, there's a shift that happens within him the moment you're around, and it's something he can't fully hide even if he tried. If he's truly interested, his face will naturally light up the second he sees you. It won't look forced or delayed. It'll be immediate, like a reflex. There's a certain brightness in his expression, a genuine smile that reaches his eyes, not just his lips. You'll notice it because it feels warm and real, not practiced or polite. His body language will follow that same honesty. He'll lean in without realizing it, face you directly, and stay engaged in a way that shows you have his full attention. Even the way he stands or moves will feel more open, more present, like his entire body is responding to your presence. His tone of voice will change too, and this is something people often overlook. When a man cares, his voice carries a different kind of energy. It might become softer, more attentive, or even slightly more excited. There's a natural variation in how he speaks to you compared to how he speaks to others. And it's not something he plans, it just happens. That subtle shift is powerful because it reveals how he feels without him needing to explain it. What makes energy so important is that it's consistent. It doesn't rely on perfect timing or the right words. If his feelings are real, that warmth and excitement will show up again and again, not just once when he's trying to impress you. You won't have to search for signs or question whether you imagined it, because it will feel clear and steady. Real interest creates a pattern, and energy is the thing that carries that pattern forward. At the same time, energy also exposes when something isn't right. If a man's words sound good, but his presence feels distant, distracted, or disconnected, that contrast matters. You might hear compliments, but if his body language is closed off or his attention keeps drifting, his energy is telling you a different story. And that's the part you should trust. Because while words can be chosen, energy is revealed. When you start paying attention to these details, everything becomes clearer. You stop relying only on what's said and begin to notice what's felt. And when a man is genuinely into you, you won't have to convince yourself of it. His face, his body language, and his tone will all align in a way that feels natural and undeniable. That's the kind of truth you don't have to chase. It shows up on its own. Presence equals interest, and it's one of the clearest signs you can ever pay attention to. When a man truly cares about you, he doesn't just show up physically, he shows up mentally and emotionally too. There's a difference between being in the same space as someone and actually being with them, and that difference is everything. A man who is genuinely interested doesn't make you compete for his attention. He gives it to you freely, naturally, without you having to ask for it. A man who cares gives you his full attention, no distractions, no divided focus. When you're talking, he's listening, not just hearing words, but actually absorbing what you're saying. He's not constantly checking his phone, scanning the room, or looking for the next thing to entertain him. His focus stays on you, and you can feel that. It creates a sense of connection that doesn't need to be forced or questioned. You don't feel like you have to repeat yourself or fight to keep his interest because his attention is already there. There's something powerful about being around someone who is fully present. It makes conversations deeper, moments more meaningful, and even silence more comfortable. When a man is truly into you, he doesn't rush through time with you like it's just another item on his schedule. Instead, he slows down. He engages. He values the moment because you're in it. And that kind of presence speaks louder than any compliment or promise he could make. You'll also notice that his awareness of you goes beyond just the surface. He picks up on small details, your expressions, your tone, the little things you mention in passing. That only happens when someone is paying real attention. It shows that he's not just physically there, but emotionally invested in understanding you. And that level of attention isn't something people give casually. It comes from genuine interest. On the other hand, when a man's attention is constantly divided, that tells you something just as clearly. If he's always distracted, half listening, or mentally somewhere else, it creates distance no matter how close he is physically. You may hear the right words, but the lack of presence leaves a gap that words can't fill. And over time, that gap becomes impossible to ignore. Because real interest doesn't make you feel overlooked or secondary. The truth is simple. People make time and space for what matters to them. If a man values you, you will feel it in the way he shows up, not just occasionally, but consistently. His presence will feel intentional, not accidental. You won't have to question whether he's truly engaged because his attention will be steady and clear. Consistency is the real proof because anyone can show interest once or twice when the mood is right, but not everyone can show up the same way over and over again. That's where the truth lies, in the pattern, not the moment. A single smile, a warm greeting, or a burst of excitement can feel good, but it doesn't mean much if it disappears the next time you see him. Real feelings don't come and go without reason. They show up steadily, and that's what makes them believable. If he's excited to see you every time, it's intentional, not random. That kind of reaction doesn't just happen by chance. It's not based on convenience, mood, or circumstance. It comes from a genuine place where his interest in you stays constant, regardless of what kind of day he's having. You'll notice that no matter when or where you meet, there's a familiar energy in the way he greets you. It's not forced or exaggerated, but it's always there, like something you can count on. Consistency creates a sense of security that words alone can't provide. When a man shows you the same level of interest repeatedly, it removes the confusion and second guessing. You're not left wondering how he feels or trying to interpret mixed signals. Instead, you begin to trust what you're experiencing because it keeps repeating itself. That steady behavior becomes a form of reassurance, not because he's telling you how much he cares, but because he's showing it without fail. What makes consistency so powerful is that it requires effort and intention. It means he's choosing to show up the same way, not just when it's easy, but all the time. Life gets busy, people get distracted, moods change. But when someone truly values you, they don't let those things affect how they treat you. Their interest doesn't fade in and out depending on the situation. It remains stable, and that stability is a reflection of how seriously they take you. On the flip side, inconsistency is just as revealing. If his energy shifts constantly, one day he's excited, the next day he's distant. It creates uncertainty. You may find yourself trying to hold on to the good moments while ignoring the gaps in between, but those gaps matter. Because when feelings are real, they don't leave you guessing. They don't make you question your place in someone's life. Inconsistency often signals hesitation, lack of clarity, or simply a lack of genuine interest. The truth is, people repeat what they truly feel. If a man is genuinely excited about you, that excitement won't be a one-time thing. It will show up again and again in ways that feel natural and effortless. You won't have to chase it, remind him, or wonder where it went. It will be part of how he interacts with you every time. Don't overthink, observe, because the more you try to analyze every little detail, the more you risk missing what's actually right in front of you. People often get caught up in decoding texts, questioning tone, or replaying conversations in their minds, trying to figure out what something might mean. But the truth is, when it comes to genuine interest, you don't need to work that hard to understand it. Real feelings have a way of showing themselves clearly, especially through simple, everyday actions that don't require explanation. The right man makes his feelings clear through his actions, especially in moments that seem small or ordinary, like the way he greets you. Those moments matter because they're unplanned and natural. They're not performances or carefully constructed gestures. They're honest reactions. When a man truly cares, you'll see it in how he shows up, not just in what he says. His actions will align with his words, and more importantly, they'll be consistent without you needing to question them. When you focus on observing instead of overthinking, you start to notice patterns. You see how he treats you not just once, but repeatedly. You notice whether he's genuinely happy to see you, whether he gives you his attention, whether his behavior feels steady and sincere. These are things you don't have to analyze deeply. They become obvious when you allow yourself to simply pay attention. Observation brings clarity, while overthinking often creates confusion where there doesn't need to be any. Overthinking can also lead you to create stories that aren't real. You might start justifying inconsistent behavior, making excuses for a lack of effort, or holding on to small moments while ignoring the bigger picture. But when you step back and observe, you begin to see things as they truly are. You recognize when someone's actions match their interest and when they don't. That awareness protects you from investing your energy in something that isn't being equally returned. The right man won't leave you in a constant state of uncertainty. You won't feel like you have to search for hidden meanings or question his intentions. His actions will feel clear, direct, and easy to understand. Especially in simple moments like a greeting, you'll sense his sincerity. There will be a natural warmth, a genuine presence, and a consistency that doesn't need explanation. It won't feel confusing. It will feel calm and certain. At the same time, observing helps you trust yourself. Instead of relying on assumptions or outside opinions, you begin to trust what you see and feel. You learn to recognize the difference between real interest and temporary attention. And once you develop that awareness, it becomes much easier to make decisions that are right for you. At the end of the day, it all comes down to this: real feelings don't hide, and they don't need to be explained over and over again. You don't have to chase clarity when someone genuinely cares about you, because their actions will give you that clarity naturally. The way he greets you, the energy he brings, the attention he gives, and the consistency he shows, all of it comes together to tell one simple truth. When a man is truly into you, you will feel it without confusion. You won't have to overanalyze his behavior or question where you stand. His presence will be steady, his interest will be clear, and his actions will match what you deserve. It won't feel like a guessing game, it will feel certain. And that's the kind of connection that matters, the kind that doesn't leave you doubting yourself or searching for answers. So instead of overthinking, pay attention. Instead of listening only to words, watch what he does. Because the right man won't just tell you how he feels, he'll show you again and again in the simplest moments. And when it's real, you won't have to ask, you'll already know.